In recent times, there's been a pretty heated debate between the two locomotion options inside Rec Room: walk and teleport. People who play on teleport are getting harassed because they are misunderstood, and some players are even accusing teleport of giving players an unfair advantage. Most new players who join the game play on walk because it's the default, and it's the one people are most used to seeing in other games. Teleport is only available on VR, which most players don't play on, but it's still needed so that players who get motion sickness from VR can still play the game. In this video, I'm going to be going over the two different locomotions and what needs to be done about this issue, because if we don't do anything, it'll only get worse. In the early days of VR, developers had an issue. Moving around in VR games makes people sick. This was a big problem and developers needed to find a solution. A lot of games just settled for no movement at all, which worked but limited the possibilities of the game by a lot. One solution that developers used was teleporting, which was where you'd hold down a button, point where you wanted to go, then release to go to the place you were pointing at. This was a step down from normal flat screen game movement, but it was better than not moving at all. In May of 2016, a small indie studio named Against Gravity, you might have heard of them, started testing a closed beta of a game they were working on called Rec Room. The devs wanted players to be able to move around, but they also didn't want players to get motion sickness, so they decided to add in teleport movement. This was the only way to move around in the game, from the closed beta of May 2016 all the way until March 2018, when they finally added in walk mode, much to the happiness of the community. At first, not a whole lot of rooms supported walk mode, because Rec Room was still trying to make sure it worked well in every room. But over time, more and more rooms added walk mode support. At this point, the community was about half and half. Half stayed on teleport, as it was what they were most comfortable with, while the other half moved on to the new walk mode. Over time, as the player base grew a substantial amount, and with the addition of screen mode, more and more people started to use walk mode, and teleporters started to become the minority. In recent years, a lot of people don't even know that teleport is a thing, which is crazy to think about for a lot of people. The issue is, walking and teleporting are quite different. They both have their pros and cons. Because teleporters are so far and few between nowadays, people don't get the proper experience to know how to fight against them in PvP games like paintball or laser tag. So when they run into one, they get confused and then rage when they die to them because they've never seen a teleporter before. So what should be done about the whole walk versus teleport situation? A lot of walk players blindly hate against teleport players, sometimes even if they're not even playing a PvP game, and a lot of teleport players simply dismiss it as a skill issue. While I definitely think a lot of people overreact towards it, I also think that both sides have a point, and removing teleport would cause way more issues. I personally think that teleport should be modified to work a little more similar to walk mode, while still retaining the same abilities as it did to keep all the teleport OGs happy. Maybe instead of there being a fixed cooldown in between teleports, the delay could get longer depending on how far you want to teleport. For example, if you want to teleport just a couple feet, then you'd only have to wait about half a second. But if you want to teleport as far as you can, then the delay would be more like 1.5 or 2 seconds. This would not only encourage players to teleport smaller distances, which would make their movement a little more predictable, but it would also make teleport a little easier for newer players who aren't used to Rec Room's teleporting. Another change that I think should be made is that the destination of a player's teleport beam should be visible for other players while the player is moving to it, and for about a second after. This would make the movement of teleport players even more predictable. While these solutions haven't been tested yet, I think they could be a good starting point to bridging the gap between the walk and teleport locomotions.